That is, the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan Bill is reshaping India's educational system by creating a powerful apex body. The Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan Bill 2025 creates a single apex body for higher education subsuming Universal Grant Commission's AICTE NCTE. It strengthens the National Education Policy 2020 by centralizing regulation, introducing AI-enabled governance, and promising transparency. However, critics, including intellectuals, opposition parties, and some states, argue it undermines the federalism, curtails states' powers in education, and risks authoritarian control. The bill also addresses private institutions' fees, scholarship, and regulation, but balancing empowerment with oversight remains contentious. And let me explain you the key features of the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan Bill 2025, that is, Apex Commission. It establishes the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan as the top body for the higher education. The councils governing under it are Regulatory Council, which controls approvals and compliance; Accreditation Council, which ensures the quality standards; Standards Council, which sets the boundaries for curriculum and institutions; United Framework replaces multiple regulators like UGC, AICTE, NCTE with one umbrella body. It talks about the technology driven governance. It introduces faceless AI enabled single window systems for approvals, free regulation, and transparency. And what is the link to the National Education Policy 2020? National Education Policy 2020 vision is it aims to holistic, student-centric, globally competitive education, and the bill's role provides legal and institutional power to National Education Policy 2020 by harmonizing standards, simplifying compliance, and expanding access. In the autonomy class, high-performing institutions get more freedom, aligning with the National Education Policy's push for innovation. How it enabled AI-led governance, AI-enabled governance, single window digital system. Institutions apply, disclose data, and get approvals online. AI monitoring. It tracks compliance, accreditation, and free structures. Transparency. Public disclosure of institutional performance to reduce corruption. Let me explain you what the criticism has been drawn against this bill. That is, the intellectuals say they fear over the centralization, loss of academic freedom, and bureaucratic control. The opposition parties call it authoritarian, arguing it sidelines the state governments and imposes uniformity. Regarding states' rights, education is a concurrent list subject. States argue that bill contravenes these legislative powers. Federalism concern. Center dictating standards may weaken regional diversity in education. With regard to private institutions and fee regulation, bill empowers the regulatory council to monitor and cap private school and higher education fees. Regarding scholarships, provisions for expanding scholarships especially for disadvantaged groups. Balance issue. While regulation prevents exploitation, private institutions fear loss of autonomy and innovation. How it can be seen as authoritarian law or the act or the bill. Centralized control. One apex body replaces multiple regulators, reducing checks and balances. State bypass. Center gains overriding power in educational policy, limiting the state legislatures. Uniformity versus diversity. Imposes national standards that may ignore local needs. How the Right to Education Act 2009 can be strengthened. And the current scope of the 2009 Right to Education Act is that it guarantees free and compulsory education to children aged 6 to 14. It mandates 25% reservation for disadvantaged children in private schools. It sets norms for teacher qualification, infrastructure, and pupil-teacher ratios. It applies mainly to elementary education class 1 to class 8, and suggestion from my side to give more power to Right to Education Act 2009. First, expand age coverage. Extend from 3 to 18 years pre-primary to higher secondary. Align with National Education Policy's 2020's vision of early childhood care and education. 2. Strengthen enforcement. Create independent education ombudsman for grievance redressal. Penalize schools violating 25% reservation or charging hidden fees. Third, Integrate with digital and AI governance. Use AI-enabled monitoring for attendance, teacher performance, and fee transparency. Link right to education compliance with Aadhaar-based student tracking. Fourth, financial empowerment. Ensure timely reimbursement to private schools for 25% quota students. Increase central and state budget allocations for right to education implementation. Include secondary and higher education. Extend the right to education guarantees to secondary schools and colleges. Scholarships and fee regulation for higher education and a right to education umbrella. Sixth, uniform fee regulation. National framework to cap private school and college fees. Transparent disclosure of fee structures online. Seventh, strengthen states' role. States should retain power to adopt right to education norms to local needs. Avoid over-centralization by the center, balancing federalism. 8. Empower teachers. Mandatory continuous training, digital literacy, and AI tools for teachers, better pay and working conditions to reduce attrition. Ninth, inclusive education. Stronger provisions for disabled children, tribal areas, and migrant workers' children. Mobile schools, community learning centers, and multilingual education. 10th, accountability and transparency. Annual right to education compliance report card for each state. Public dashboards showing enrollment, dropout rates, and infrastructure status. The debate is clear. Will this bill modernize education or centralize control too much? Leaving you on that note, thank you for watching.